everyone, I'm back. It's Chelsea Lee, I'm the Beauty Savage, and today I'm going to teach you how to do a smoky eye. Although it's not an everyday wear, I do think it's really important for everyone to know how to do because it is so classic to do a smoky eye. And it may seem a little intimidating at first, but when you learn a few tips and tricks, you can see how really easy it actually is to accomplish. And I have a couple secret weapons, one of them being tape, to make sure that we get this really straight line on the side. And we're also going to use, well, I don't want to spoil all my surprises, so you're just going to have to watch to see. Real quick, I want to mention that I did use Makeup Geek shadows, which are only $6 a piece, and they come just like this in a little pan. It's magnetic, and you will want to buy yourself a palette to put it in, but you can kind of create your own custom palettes, mix and match. You can pop out pans from other shadows like MAC, pop them in here. When you buy individual refills for your, say, Anastasia or Kat Von D contour kit, you can pop those bad boys right in here. So if you need to travel, you can just use, bring exactly what you want to need, what you want to use, or what you're going to need without having to bring 500 million things, because if you're like me and you travel, you probably have lots of bags. And anyway, so these are the shadows that I have from Makeup Geek. This is my collection. I kind of built like a warm palette and a cool palette. Keep watching if you want to see how I created this smoky eye. Do I keep doing this? I do this a lot. Who am I talking to? The camera? There's no, Canon? Do I do this a lot? If you want to see how I did this look, keep watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more. First, you want to get some plain old Scotch tape. Slap a couple strips right on your hand. We just want to loosen it up a bit, so to speak. We are starting with the bare face since we are working with dark shadows. This will prevent our under eyes from looking like raccoons. Place the strips right under your lower lash line and in the same direction. Next, I'm priming my eyes with concealer. I'm using Maybelline Age Rewind in the shade Light and placing it directly on my eye and blending it out with the beauty sponge from Real Techniques. First, I'm going to go in with my Morphe E22, and I'm using the color Frappe for my transition shade. It's a warm toned medium brown, much like the color of my bronzer. Next, I'm going in with my Morphe M433 brush and the shade Cocoa Bear, and really just concentrating that shade directly into my crease. I am going to bring it up higher a little bit later, but right now I just want to make sure that the color is nice and saturated in there before we go in with something darker. Next, I'm going in with a black kohl pencil. This one is from NYX, and I'm focusing it right along my lash line. I want to make sure that there's no empty spaces in there. And then I'm focusing it right along the tape, putting it onto the tape, and then pushing it onto my lid to make sure that there's no empty spaces of skin there. You want the color to be nice and sharp when you pull that tape off. And then I'm going to line my waterline. I am using a Marc Jacobs pencil just because I feel like it lasts better on my waterline than the NYX pencil does, but I wanted to give you guys a drugstore option. I'm just blending that liner out with my G20 brush from Morphe before I pack some black shadow on the top. And then I'm going to pack the shade Corrupt over the top of that liner. This shade is so black, you don't even really need to place a liner underneath it, but I find that the liner helps it to last longer. Now I'm going back in with Cocoa Bear right into my crease to help blend out that black shadow that we have on there. After we do that, we are going to just be blending for the rest of our lives. So blend, 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 blend. Now I'm going in with my Morphe G18 and I'm focusing the shade Wild Wild West on the outer edge and blending that in. And then I also picked up some of the shade Corrupt to focus that into the crease because I didn't feel like it was dark enough. And now I'm blending all that out with my E22 and my transition shade, which was Frappe. And I'm just making sure everything looks nice and even before I go ahead and start working on the rest of my crease. Now I am taking my Morphe M502 in the shade Chickadee, and that's kind of an orangish shade, which is going to help blend out all of those browns together to make it look a little bit more fluid. Now I am taking my Morphe M433 brush in the shade Cocoa Bear again and just blending that into my crease and bringing it a little bit upwards. And I'm highlighting my brow bone with the shade Vanilla Bean. Right now I am just priming my face with Hourglass Mineral Veil Primer. And now I am applying my foundation with a flat foundation brush, and I am using Urban Decay's All Nighter in the shade 4 and blending that in with an oval brush. Now I'm going in with my concealer. I'm using Maybelline Age Rewind in the shade Light and the shade Fair. I am using 2 different concealers. And I'm going to blend all of that out with my Real Techniques Beauty Sponge, taking extra care to not mess up our line. I am actually flipping it over and using the flat side to make sure that I'm getting a close application with my foundation. I am setting that concealer with Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. I'm going to put that on my forehead and on my smile lines because that's where I tend to crease the most. Now I'm going in with my favorite blush. It's the shade Amaretto in the Jaclyn Hill and Becca Cosmetics collab. I'm just going to put that right on the apples of my cheeks. And then right about here is when I notice I didn't contour. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Oh. Yep, all right, it's okay, moving along. We can contour last. Oh, there we go, contour, contour, contour. I'm using the Tarte Park Ave Princess bronzer for my contour. It's my favorite right now, and I'm using this brush from e.l.f., which I will try to link down below. I'm going to put that on my forehead as well for a sun-kissed look. Not only does it help you to look more sun-kissed, but it also just helps the contour to blend in really well. Now I'm going in with my highlighter from Ofra in the shade Rodeo Drive. I'm concentrating most of that pigment right on top of my cheekbones and then bringing the leftovers up on top of my temples and a little bit on my Cupid's bow. I'm going to line my bottom waterline with my Marc Jacobs liner. I use the Real Techniques sponge to kind of hold my eye open a little bit. That way I don't make any creases in my makeup. And now I'm taking a Morphe M432 brush and putting the shade Cocoa Bear, which is the medium brown, right on the outer edge of my eyes. I'm focusing that right against the lash line, which kind of helps to blend out any of the eyeliner that may have got underneath your lashes. And then I'm going back in with the shade Corrupt, which is the black shade, to kind of deepen up the outer corners of my eye even more. Now I'm going in with my E36 and the shade Frappe, and I am just blending that from the, not the inner corner, but the beginning of my lashes, all the way out into the darker brown that we put on the outer corner. And then finally it blends into that black. And I'm taking some of the Chickadee, which is the orangish color, and running that all the way under the eyeshadows that I just applied. I like to spray my brush every time I do my inner corner highlight because highlight is in, honey, get it, yeah! But honestly, it really just helps for the color to be a little bit more vivid than if you were to use it dry. So that's why I spray every time. Water will work, or you can use setting spray, primer water. I use Smashbox primer water. And I use the shade Shimma Shimma. Now I am going in and putting a coat of mascara on my bottom lashes. Nothing special about that. Same old, same old. And then I'm going to do a thin layer of mascara on my top lashes. This will help the falsies to blend in more seamlessly. Make sure you let the glue dry about 30 seconds or until tacky, and then I apply them kind of at a downward angle. And then I make adjustments when necessary, pulling it a little bit closer to the corner and making sure that that inner corner is nice and stuck. I am lining my lips with ColourPop's lip liner in the shade Lumiere. And I am using Milani lipstick in the color Nude. And now I'm just cleaning up the edges of my lips, and I am done. So keep watching if you want to see how Chelsea and I am here today for great things. Thank you. And then you get them just like this in the pan, and there's someone on the